We'll go ahead and move on. 71 protests today. By the way, if you see your area on here, head over to forwardobserver.com. So we track these protests. We source them from all the major protest outlets, in addition to the far left groups that are still active sporadically across the United States. And we will be publishing this list. In addition to the map, put the full list up on the Forward Observer website. For members only, it's another great reason to be a member of Forward Observer. So if you check out this map every day and you see something in your area, go to the list, and we provide the group that's organizing it. It's basically a SALT report: size, activity, location, time. Be aware, maybe avoid those areas, or maybe go to those areas. Something we talked about on TAC Intel Tuesday, yesterday, the live stream I do every Tuesday, where I talk about tactical intelligence, how to do intelligence at the local level. One of the questions that I got was, Mike, should we be going to these protests for the purposes of intelligence gathering? And I can't tell you that you should or shouldn't. However, you may learn a lot if you do go. And with that, let's go ahead and move on. Speaking of this, so there was we reported on this at the time, but last month, actually on the night of June 12th, there was an arson attack in Brooklyn, New York City, where an arsonist broke into a NYPD parking lot and set 10 vehicles on fire. So this guy has since turned himself in. He's a 21-year-old pro-Palestinian militant. His name is Jockey. You can read his full name in the report. Jockey Logsden McRae. And he's turned himself into authorities after he was identified as the alleged arsonist in this June attack. Now, he is alleged to have climbed a fence into this Brooklyn NYPD parking lot and set fire to 10 police vehicles in this 12 June arson attack. And I do want to point out the assailant here used commercial fire starters, exactly like the ones you see here. He used dragon egg. He used a different thing also, but dragon eggs were one of them. And this is just it's like it's made from coconut fibers or something, and it's got some kind of oil in it. It'll burn forever. But, one of the things that since I've been following these arson attacks they've been going on for a long, long time. One of the reasons why arson against vehicles, we saw the arson against construction vehicles in the greater Atlanta area, Georgia, up to Asheville, North Carolina. We saw arson against vehicles in Portland, pretty much just all over the country. And one of the reasons why is because they get one of these fire starters and they light it on fire and they set it on the back tire of a police vehicle or whatever vehicle on the side of the gas tank. Once this fire starter catches that tire on fire, it's extremely difficult to put out. It also allows these people to run away because once, you light it's fire and forget. You light it and you run away. And before there's a large fire, you're already long gone. So it decreases the risk generally as well. So I just want to point out, this assailant used about $30. I looked at this stuff. You can buy it on Amazon and all these Walmart, wherever. It's about $30 worth of fire starter to cause $800,000 in damage to NYPD cruisers and unmarked vehicles. Now, how this guy was caught is pretty interesting. He was identified through surveillance footage, and also he made a credit or debit card transaction about a 15-minute walk away from this parking lot when he purchased a bottle of water. He also has multiple arrests for previous offenses during these pro-Palestine direct action demonstrations. He faces other charges like including reckless endangerment, menacing, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest. Now, the big takeaway from all this is I don't know if this was his intent or not, but this June attack, or this 12 June attack, occurred just 2 days prior to that 14 June No Kings National Day of Action. And he is very likely to have at least partially degraded the NYPD's readiness in Brooklyn ahead of those major demonstrations. Again, I just want to point out, it's unclear if this was the intent, but we could see efforts to target police readiness or otherwise degrade a security environment ahead of large-scale direct action in the future. And this is what effectively amounts to shaping operations in an urban insurgency, this is effects-based targeting. You go and you say, ultimately, we want to do this in this area. What are all the targets that we can attack prior to going in order to reduce effectiveness, reduce command and control, reduce anyone's ability to respond? Again, I'm not saying this did happen, but eventually they're going to put two and two together, and maybe we'll see much more highly planned actions. Not anymore of this Alvarado stuff, which was haphazard, and you got first those 12 Antifa militants being rolled up. Now they're up to 15. So we'll see, but this is potentially a very important development. There's so much emphasis on, these guys can do this because they're well funded and these actions are being planned at a much higher level. Because this guy was 21 years old. He goes to wherever, Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever, a gas station maybe, and he buys $30 worth of fire starters. You don't have to be well funded or highly organized. This was one guy jumping a fence at a police vehicle parking lot and causing $800,000 worth of damage. This is an incredibly high ROI. It could be repeated all across the country. And actually, we've seen this stuff before, especially in Portland, where something very similar happened. I think they've torched like 17 police vehicles. They cut through a fence at the Portland Police Bureau, a parking lot there. These Antifa militants, they just cut a hole in the fence. They walked in. They set a bunch of these fire starters or incendiary contraptions, whatever they were using, on the tires of these vehicles, and they walk away, and they're never caught. So I just want to point out, I think this emphasis on how well-funded and highly organized these far-left groups can be true. It's definitely not true for stuff like this, where you have literally $30 worth of materials. Anybody could afford that. Or they just go in and steal it. That's also not uncommon for these far left groups. Just go in and steal what you need.